Disappointment and shame is what I consider a negative emotion. It's not going to produce life. It's going to produce death. It's going to produce anxiety. It's going to produce stress of all kinds. And as we've shared before, it will take you out of what you're supposed to do. Disappointment is a feeling released into your whole chemistry and into every decision you make and everything else you're going to perceive. And this feeling that's released in us really is always, remember this, it's always by your choice and by what you're willing to be persuaded about. This is a subject that we've talked about a lot, and a lot of people talk about all the time and experience all the time, is most people, if you get real honest with them, say so often they feel like they don't measure up. They feel like they're not either impressing their wife, they're not impressing their God. They feel like they just aren't good enough. And that's this feeling of disappointment. This is that feeling of shame and guilt. I want to read to you something that I wrote down the other day. It says, we are not condemned by what we do wrong. We are not justified by what we do right. We are justified by faith in His right, and we are condemned by our own doubt, disbelief in the price that He paid for us. Well, they just make me feel bad. No, I guess, that's not a truthful statement. Your wife can't make you feel bad. Your husband can't make you feel. Your mom and dad can't make you feel bad. Your children can't make you feel bad. They can only present to you their evaluation of you and their criticism of you or their compliment of you. But the only one that gets to control how you feel about that is you. You get to decide. Think about your own life right now and think about your disappointments in life. People get so disappointed in their life that they take their life. They end it soon. It has a huge impact on our everyday life, doesn't it? Be honest, I feel like I'm a strong person. I feel like I push through a lot of things. But be honest, there's some sins that I would not do because if once I did them, the guilt and the shame, I don't know if I could beat it. I don't know if I could beat the guilt and the shame that would come upon me if I. There's some things if I cause somebody's death or something, it would be very hard for me to get above that. When people have done things and hurt their family members, that they've, like the prodigal son or whatever else, man, you and I can tell them God will forgive you, God will restore you, God will not hold this against you, but I'm telling you, it's a huge battle, isn't it, not to condemn yourself. And boy, some of those battles, I don't know if I'd win or not, so my safest thing is I really try not to go there. There's some things I don't want to experience the guilt and shame of. And yet at the same time, as a minister of the gospel, I want to be able to be bold enough to say, God will restore you no matter what you've done. He'll take the guilt and He'll take the shame away. So there's those who believe in Him will not be put to shame, will not be disappointed or a disappointment. One of the greatest miracles I think you and I can experience is to actually believe that God is not disappointed in us. And once you start experiencing that, you'll find out you're not so disappointed with others. When I hear somebody say, I'm so disappointed with you, or you shamed your family, or whatever, I think, man, they're people who do not understand how much God has forgiven us. They're putting all their confidence in doing, if you do the right thing, you're going to be justified. But I'll tell you, folks, you and I can't do enough right things to get justified. You and I can't do enough right things to get rid of the guilt, to get rid of the shame, to get rid of all the disappointment. And nobody else can do enough right things for us to forgive them. The only way we get free is to absolutely believe that what Christ did paid a price for every one of us to set us free. What would happen in our everyday life? You take all just the people we got here, the people listening on the video, etc. What if they got free from that guilt and that shame? And what if they stopped being so disappointed in others? How much difference would it make in their everyday life and what they got done? I'm here to tell you that it's huge. It'd be such a huge thing. We'd do so many more things. We'd live so much more in the joy that Deb was talking about. That little thing in your head would be firing up. Your energies would come up. Man, disappointment and shame just suck the living life out of everybody. Takes the energy that you would have to finish out the day and just sucks it out to where you haven't got energy for anything. My disappointment with anybody is my choice. My disappointment with life is my choice. I hear people basically say this: you crossed the line. How could I not be disappointed in you? You cannot be disappointed because you just don't put the line down. Do you realize you can live a life without disappointment? Think about, how would you feel today if you weren't so disappointed with your spouse? How would you live today, this afternoon, if you weren't disappointed in yourself? How would you live this afternoon if you weren't so disappointed in life? In some way you could say, God, how could you not be disappointed in that person? How could you not be disappointed in me after what I've just done? And for me, it's like saying, God can say, because just like you can not be disappointed in your baby learning how to walk, in the big perspective, I'm not disappointed with what you've done. God didn't show disappointment to Cain. He just came along and started coaching him what he should do. He didn't scold him. He didn't say, you're a worthless piece of junk. He just said, Cain, come on, you can do this. Figure it out. Sin is crouching at your door, but you can master it. He's doing the same with us. He's not upset with us. He's not bitter with us. He's not disappointed. And yet we will say to each other, God is so disappointed in you. God is disappointed in America. No, he's not. You know why? Because it's his choice. And he chose not to be. And he said, those who believe in me, they'll not be put to shame. I'll not put them to shame. Ever. Man, we got a wrong perspective. And that's how God looks at us, and that's how we can look at one another. Living a life without disappointment.